Hey guys, Rabbit here, back with another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered cast, and today we have a game between two NAS clanmates. So NAS, for those of you who don't know, is the North American squad. Both of these players are members of the B team. Scouting in the top left position on, I think we're on Vermeer, is So. And in the bottom left position is a player by the name of PBJT, and he is our purple Zerg for today. Alright, so yellow versus purple, little bit tricky on the eyes and the spotting, but we'll make do as best we can. Unfortunately, I couldn't red versus blue this one. So you can see by the chat of these players, these are practice games between clanmates, but I therefore, even though it is the case, expect them to play pretty exciting, pretty well, pretty free. They don't have the nerves and the stress sometimes that comes with tournaments. So I think it's going to be a pretty good ZVT. I've really been casting a lot of ZVTs on my channel recently, and I'm really starting to enjoy and appreciate this match. So looking forward to doing yet another one here today. So in terms of some other news in Rabbitland, we have finally leveled up our audio. So this is one of the first few games with the new audio setup. Let me know in the comments if you notice any difference. I'm just trying to eliminate the highs that are a little bit too high and the hype moments that potentially blow out my poor viewers' eardrums. I do always appreciate the comment and the feedback, even if it's negative or sometimes a little bit hostile. It doesn't faze me in the slightest. It's just a learning experience for me to constantly look at improving. Okay, so our Zerg has gone hatch first. I presume he's just going to do a 12, 11, 10. There we go. So 12 hatch, 11 pool, 10 gas. So has gone with a straight scout and will find his Zerg opponent immediately and find pretty much exactly what he's expecting to see, which is good. Looks like he's just gearing up for the standard Rax expand on his side as well. So these two openings tend to cultivate nice macro games, lots of excitement, lots of fighting. And that's what you look forward to. By the way, I have absolutely fallen in love with this map, Vermeer. It is absolutely fantastic. We first saw it in the ASL, and now it is on the ladder. So players are playing it more and more. The games I'm getting are played on this map, and it's just really such a nice macro map. A great Starcraft Broodwar map, very balanced. I don't hear any representatives of any race saying it's unfair for them or too fair for the other, or too favored. It's beautifully weighted. It's probably as popular, or soon I reckon will become as popular as Polypoid, which I guess is considered the most popular and balanced map in the map pool at the moment. Okay, so Command Center coming up. This is my first game of the day, so I'm hoping that my juices will get flowing. We're doing a nice big batch upload today. Our target is to try and record 5 games back to back. You've got to become quite fit in terms of having a good voice that can talk for that long, but thankfully and hopefully mine will hold out for today. I'm recording a lot of content now before I go on vacation, because there I'll be recording absolutely none. I'll be in deepest, darkest Africa, where recording is a luxury that requires electricity, which I won't always have. So making the most of the electricity while I still do have it, to bring you the Brood War action over the course of December, January and February, which is probably the window period of when you'll be seeing this game, even though I'm recording it on the 20th of November. Alright, so some lings are about, chasing the scouting SCV away. Our Zerg has started his lair. He's about to start his spire. So this is very standard. It looks like the 2-hatch spire build, which you're seeing very often. So seems to have found a little window here to push, and I don't think our Zerg has spotted this because there's no sunken colony here at all. The backstab with some lings is not going to achieve much because the depot wall is pretty solid. So he's going to get in here and he's going to force a drone pull and get an overlord here. So this is going to be pretty good damage. The drones are doing some sort of dance that I can't say I fully understand. It's maybe the cha-cha or the tango. Not too sure. There's a little bit of swagger, a little bit of style, and what's the play here, man? Okay, so just to buffer for the lings, I guess. So he's going to drill through them to spaz out the AI a little bit. And he's only lost one drone through this drill. There's lost another one. There's lost another one. But drilling back and forward, and I suppose PBJT did take as fewer casualties there as possible. But certainly was caught off guard by that little move out from So. He didn't scout it. He didn't pop up a sunken, which he, if he had seen it in time, would have had plenty of opportunity and money to do so. So now moves into a pretty nice lead. And it's these small margins that certainly do make a difference. Without any mutas on the map at all, we see PBJT taking a third in the adjacent position, which is pretty popular now from Zergs. But I think if So were to scout this, that is really going to be a problem, because Zerg's going to have a tough time holding it. His mutas, though, are not far away. 3 are about to pop, so I think the confidence to take that expansion does come from the fact that the mutas do tend to give the Zerg player the map control in the early game until vessels come out. So what is our... Okay, so I have been studying the various decision trees that a Terran has with this opening. So option 1 is on 3 racks. They take 1, even 2 starports and start with vessel production. Option 2 is then once they do that, they take a 3rd base. And option 3 is you see 5 racks and +1, and then you see an early attack. So it looks like So is going for a little bit more of an aggressive option. The 4th racks here is certainly a signal that he wants to be aggressive. He's had to now obviously just pause the racks explosions to get his turrets up in time, because his opponent is going to start to harass with mutas. But it'll be interesting to see when and if he pops up this 5th barracks, or where exactly he puts the 2nd gas and the starport in his build order. Okay, so some harassment here from our purple Zerg. Looks like he wants to try and find a weak point. I don't really see one. Maybe this little channel here, but I'm pretty sure this turret can hit it. He's kind of flown in there. He's going to pick up that SCV and get out of dodge with minimal hit points, so that's not bad. Decent harassment. So it's just basically 4 racks +1. 1 gas. Academy, he's going to get his standard marine range and stem upgrades if he hasn't already. He has the +1 on its way. Scanning on a consistent basis. Space is coming up unharassed. It's a long way for the Terran to move to, which is why the Zergs tend to choose this position. Okay, so with the 4 racks, prioritizing that over his 2nd gas, and his starport has to move out, otherwise he's going to start to fall behind. So this is definitely a pressure build. He's going to need to try and contain and limit the damage these mutas can do, though, and also has to always be wary of a counter or even potentially a surround, which I see a lot of Zerg players doing here. Alright, so he stems up but doesn't take the engagement, lets his medics heal up. But Zerg has realized, alright, so maybe keeping my mutas alive is my absolute top priority, and so has decided he's going to consolidate a few more units before he goes anywhere. So still 4 racks, he's adding a factory now. Of course he needs the factory before he can progress to starport. But what I saw in a recent game of Artosis versus Hawk is it's 3 racks, then it's the factory, and then it's double port. He seems to just be building the 1 for now. Okay, there we go. So he's done 4 racks double port and is now doing his marine attack range. So a slight variation on the build. He's moving out with marines without range against mutas, which is going to be a little bit more tricky ideally than if they did have range. But he's got a lot of bio here, more than enough to mean that the mutalists really can't engage until they have far more superior numbers. Pretty even this stage. I thought the early harassment that So did gave him a little bit of a lead, but Zerg's done pretty nicely in getting back on track. If anything, probably a few fewer drones of what he ideally wants on 3 bases. Is prioritized unit production over drone production for sure. Floating a little bit of cash, but of course when he has 1 or 2 more additional hatcheries, he'll be able to put that money to use pretty quickly. Lurker aspect is coming in, So won't have vessels for some time. Here we can see the 2 control towers, and the science facility is in the production tab, is being built, so vessels will be out pretty soon, and that's basically the window here for Zerg. He can harass pretty much until the vessels come out, and then he needs to unit transition. Doesn't really have another choice. So no Queen's Nest, no progression into Spire as of yet. He's got the 3 Sunkens here to protect this base. It looks like So's going to move now, though. Where is he going to target is the question. If it was me, I suppose my game sense would be to try and target the furthest position, but it looks like he's going to storm straight into the natural here. So let's see how this goes. So pauses slightly, sees how many lurkers there are, if any. There are none at this stage. Stems in, This is against 3 Sunkens, and the mutas are coming in, and the mutas coming in from the side. This is really quite a big fight. I don't know if all this fire is going to be enough, although the mutas are evaporating pretty fast, and these Sunkens are really working hard. There are a couple of Hydras here in the back. They could become Lurkers really, really soon. So this attack has not gone well for Terran at all. Really nicely held by Zerg. He's got to get out of dodge. Yes, he does have a few other units in reserve. The mutas don't actually have to engage here. They could go back to the safety of the Sunkens if they want to. He chooses to go for it. That's probably the right call. He also picks up the medics. That was a really, really nice engagement for Zerg. So the muta is now moving out with that little bit of confidence gained from that attack. Alright, so we're 5 racks. We're double port. Where is our second eBay? Okay, so we're not up to double eBay upgrades as of yet. I'm pretty sure that's coming soon. We've picked up the SCV here that was potentially setting up for a 3rd base. Maybe that's the idea here from So, to get his 3rd base going before he goes on to double eBay upgrades. We'll have to wait and see what his plan is now. He took probably more casualties here than he ideally wanted to. That turret's gone down now, so these mutas are going to have a good time. So he's going to be forced to bring enough fire back here to chase these Marines away. He's got a nice surround on them though before he started firing and picked off one there nicely. And now I think the goal here is to set up a 3rd. I don't think we're going to see any more moves out from my Terran player. He's got vessels. That does certainly help him against the mutalist harassment. As long as his micro of the vessels is good and he babysits them and doesn't lose too many, he'll certainly be in a good spot. These lurkers have arrived here and they do shred bio just like that, but there's just too many Marines here and enough vessel support, so that's nicely picked off. I think Zerg would do well now to consolidate, potentially take a 4th base, get his drone count up, get his hive tech going. He has the hive as I say that. And try his best to contain and keep So on 2 bases for as long as he possibly can. So doesn't seem content to rest. He doesn't seem that keen on his expansion as of yet. He seems keen to move out again. I don't know if this is the right move. There's a lot of Sunkens here. There's a lot of lurkers on the map. He still hasn't seemed to have gone to this position. Our Zerg player's now got a few Scourge out to deal with these vessels, which is a really good counter for that. So he's irradiating what he can see. We saw the double irradiates there on the lurkers. That is painful because those lurkers are just pretty much going to evaporate, which means there's only one left here. And there we hear him explode. I think this might just be a soft contain from So. Difficult to say for sure what his ideas are. Still just 2 basing it. Sending an SCV down here. I think this is a scouting mission. Alright, so he goes for it. This lurker here though, all the Sunkens have dropped so quickly, but there are 3 lurkers here and the mutas are coming in, but I think this is going to be really, really tight. He does pull away though because there's only 3 Marines left. I don't know if this continuous pressure from So is the right call. I think he needs to change gears and look to transition into a more macro-centric build. Looks like our Zerg is prepared for this. There we go. So he's discovered, oh dear, so you up here and you've got lurkers on the high ground. This is going to be tricky to break. Couple of vessels throwing down a few irradiates and getting out of dodge there quickly enough. Rallying down some more units. So this is just relentless pressure from our Terran player. Nicely done. Another irradiate, another dead lurker. Very enjoyable TVZ. There's two very well matched players. We are seeing our Terran now go up to 6 racks. Where is your second eBay? You do have it because you are doing double upgrades. I just can't see it because I'm blind. Okay, I see So is moving out towards. Okay, well, there's one there, one there. There we go. Rabbit found his eye. So we are on the double upgrade. So this is very much just vessel bio. And he's deciding, does he have what he needs to try and break this position? So probably something I would have expected So to look to do a bit earlier in this game, if I'm very honest, is to pressure this base. Zerg has had a lot of time to prepare and stack lurkers on the high ground. He scans, he sees the number of lurkers there and goes, I don't know how juicy this is. I'm going to need a fair few more vessels before I'll be able to break this. He's going to have to radiate a fair few lurkers before he gets anywhere. There's a lot of bio flying down here though. This is bio ball power for sure. So has landed his command center and set up his 3rd. I think definitely using the posturing of his big bio ball up and down this map to secure map control so that he could take his 3rd, and now certainly moves into a very, very strong position. How's that upgrade count? So he's got 2-2. with more upgrades on the way. So this is going to be very, very strong bio against basically lurkers. Lurkers with a few Scourge. Here come, does he babysit his vessels? No, loses one there to Scourge. That's a bit sloppy, to be honest. He could have backed those up. But he did only lose one, to be fair, so not the worst news for our Terran player. So another little slump of infantry units moving out this way. It just seems like So is building up to a big attack here, and our Zerg is turtling up like a mofo in response. A lot of lings down here, and he's actually moving his lurkers forward. He wants to try and hold his position on the low ground, which is interesting. Burrow, Mr. Lurkers, burrow! Burrow! Alright, so he burrows, he scans, but the lings are going to distract this bio ball. It's going to go, but so it looks like this has triggered him to move out most of his units, which is a good move. Seems to want to split his attention though. Some of these units have been left behind, but this could be a potentially big moment. Zerg wants to try and take this base, but he would now be forced to reposition his lurkers. There's only 2 here on the high ground, and I'm pretty sure that So will be able to take this without any trouble at all. This is a whole heap of 2-2, soon to be 3-2 bio. Oh, there goes the vessel though. Again, very sloppy vessel positioning, losing another vessel for free. Dark Swarm has arrived though, which is going to make breaking this lurker line a little bit more difficult, but the lurkers are on the high ground, and the Dark Swarm is on the low ground. He throws up another one. Good luck coming up that ramp, Mr. Terran. So holds his high ground position, but unable to expand yet. Our Zerg is floating quite a few minerals, I think because of a gas deficit. When you're a Zerg in this matchup, you need 4 gases as soon as possible. Otherwise, your life becomes really difficult to afford the unit composition you ideally want against this biocentric play. And that's, I think, where our Zerg is starting to struggle a little bit. Trying again to establish the space. Is there a Nidus here? Yes, okay, so he can reinforce this position from the other side, which helps a lot. So we're moving out here to take a little bit of a fight. There's a few Hydras that were not lurkers, and there's a few lurkers that are kind of all stacked together. The Darkstorm does go up to protect them though, forcing him to move it back. Meanwhile on this side, still trying to break this position with 3, 4, 5 vessels. I don't see any Scourge, unfortunately, for our Zerg. I think he's struggling to produce them, although he's just made 5 sets now, but he's got no others. More lurkers have gone into position though, so he's struggling to break this. This seems to just be a constant battle for So, moving up and down, going, can I break here? No. 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 The advantage that this gives him is that Zerg is not active on the map at all. Zerg is playing a very defensive game, which gives him liberty to take a 4th base, which is really going to give him so much money and so much power. We're now a 8 Raxing, double porting, 3-3 Terran, and that is really difficult for Zerg to stop in the long run. It's just relentless pressure, which is what it seems to be. Our Zerg, on the other hand, is only a 3-basing Zerg versus what is soon going to be a 4-basing Terran, and he's just going to not have enough econ power to get through and win this game based on how it's going at this stage. Alright, so nice Dark Swarms, good Ling Lurker play. This seems to be the most common form of meta. Are these Lings slow? Is this real life? These feel like slow lings to me at 18 minutes. Unless they are fast lings, but they don't need to run very far. I'm not really sure. But here come the melee attacks, carapace, and we're upgrading missile attacks. So it looks like we're going to bring some Hydras into the game as well, which is very interesting and a lot of fun. I recently cast a Hawk versus Artosis game where Hawk went Hydra Lurker Ling, and it was absolutely beautiful to watch. Alright, so Ling Lurkers here are going to get a bit of surround off. There's a lot of vessel support here though, so he can irradiate without too much hassles at all. And he puts up the Dark Swarm, throws a few Lurkers in. I think he wants to try and take this position now as Zerg, but it's very difficult. This is just a contain from So he's gone, alright, well, you're not going to go anywhere, so I'm going to hold you here and pin you, and my army is going to be in your face here the whole time, blocking you from taking this base, blocking you from taking this base, and I'm actually just going to starve you out. So a couple of Lings have moved out onto the map. I don't think they're going to be able to do too much against these Marines. So it's just skirmishes, just intermittent skirmishes here and there, and that's about it. So moves back slightly. I think the spotting at eBay, okay, so all his upgrades are done. So he floats the eBay now that he no longer has a use for it. I think potentially just as a spotter building to see where and if our Zerg opponent is trying to expand. Okay, so our 4th base is established. We are saturating it. Looks like we're going here to take a 5th. So he's really enjoying having the map control that he's got. He's nearly maxed out now, so just throwing down a ton of command centers behind all this control is really helpful. Here comes a drop. I didn't see him building the drop ships, but I did see the unload. The Dark Swarms go up immediately, almost as if Zerg was anticipating this. What came out of these drop ships? Where are his units? There's a few vessels that have come with this, and that's about it. And there's nothing being attacked. Okay, so he's plagued the drop ships, but did all the units die that came out of the drop ships? What even happened there? Okay, that was just bloody bizarre. Really bizarre. And I was going to kill the drop ships with the Scourge. Okay. One of the stranger drops I've ever watched. Alright, so this base has been denied. So we're still a 3-basing Zerg. Zerg is going to have to, and he's struggling as well. I don't think he even has the hatch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's 7, 8. So he's an 8 hatching Zerg, but he's not making anything at the moment. He's just doing upgrades. Okay, so there he pumps out a run of macro, getting an Ultralisk Cavern. He just doesn't have enough units to contend with the amount of map control and power that So has. He's throwing up another command center here, and is just really enjoying control over this game. This very soon is going to turn into a bit of a hiding, if I'm honest. Blocking bases, owning the map. He's basically smothering his opponent. It's a good way of describing this. So a bit of play good. Trying to break out here. Zerg's got to make a move soon, otherwise this game is just over. There are so many vessels here, although again, letting them get ahead of their marine support. So he does lose one to Scourge. A couple of spores coming out. Seems to now be going into Hydras, which is interesting. Okay, a couple of free vessels there, losing about 3. It probably didn't really need to lose as many as that, but it doesn't really seem to matter all that much. He's got so much money, so much production. It's all fairly academic at this stage. Alright, so this is the most stalemated thing ever. Marines shooting at each other in a Dark Swarm. The Lurkers come in and say, alright boys, let me, I got this. Nice Plague. Plagues on this have been pretty good. The Fire Plays also been pretty decent. He's used his Dark Storm quite effectively. Ow! That is a lot of dead. I think the funnest noise in Starcraft is the sound of dead Marines to Lurkers. It's a beautiful sight, it's a beautiful sound. It's one of the many awesome features of this particular match type. You see his positioning of his Marines. This is just, you can't have this, you can't have this, you can't have this, you can't have this. This is just really good demonstration of highly skilled Starcraft players. They want visibility on where their opponent is. He knows the only way he loses this match is if he lets Zerg get bases that he doesn't scout and block. So it's basically base blocking and just trading units, and eventually Zerg will just bleed out. We're just not going to have enough to trade. Nice big worker transfer into the top right position. Another pretty fun skirmish between a Firebat and a Hydralisk. The Hydralisk is actually going to win under the Dark Swarm, because I don't think the Hydralisk can hit the Firebat under the Dark Swarm. Dark Swarm is really confusing when you're playing with the Hydralisk, man. Alright, so here's the play good Marines, but they have got nobody to kill them. 200 plays 100, and I just think it's a matter of time before our Terran friend runs across to one of these bases and just smushes our Zerg opponent in the face. Terran could expand again. I mean, literally everywhere he has Marines scouting the map, he could be expanding himself. Alright, so the Hydras are in town. Hello, Mr. Hydra. How are you? Good. Excellent. Ah, the Zergling is gone. Oh, crap. You have this too? Oh, well. I'll kill it all myself. Oh, well, I won't. Okay. Alright, so moving out here. I think he knows he's got to make a move. That was a lot of dead bio. There's so much blood on the ground, but there are so many more Marines where they came from. Dark Swarm goes up. The medics are poking their wands here like mofos, to the point where there's basically just medics in the front and a handful of Marines behind. They keep firing into the Dark Swarm for some silly reason. I don't know what the point of that is. They did, and yeah, here we go, another engagement. Hydras are now out of the protection of the Dark Swarm and have been killed. Meanwhile, Zerg's moving across here to really try and establish another position. So knocking off the little bit of bio that's here. I'm pretty sure So will pull across some other units to try and deny the space. There's a lot of lanky lizards here though, so Dark Swarm will be a plenty. But this big ball of units with all of the vessels in tow, I reckon is going to circle across here and try and close down this position, because this is the plan from Zerg, is to lurkerize and turtle up this position and try and establish a base. So there's the hatch. So has identified the risk. He sees what's coming. There's our lizards throwing down their dark storm as we expected. So he's going to pivot round. This is a tricky point to protect from our Zerg player, because he's got to go both times. Where are your vessels, so? You've got so many vessels and you've let them all get plagued, and no, they need help. Yeah. Okay, so he does kill the lurkers with scan. The vessels would have obviously been a little bit more handy for that, and to raided a few of these lurkers, he would have lost far fewer marines. Not the most efficient trades from So. I think maybe being a little bit more relaxed in that regard, just because of how much macro he's got and how much production he's got. He knows he can trade massively inefficiently and still win. All he really needs to just do is block the space from coming up, which once again he has successfully done. So how much money before our Zerg runs out? He's got a little bit here, he's got a tiny bit at his main, he's got a little bit here. He does have this base up and running, so he's not out of money entirely. I think this is So's next target, is to try and shut down this base. We do have a Ling patrolling there, which is kind of fun. But that's about it. Okay, so I think he's going to consolidate into one giant bio ball and try and take this down. If he kills this base, I think our Zerg will GG. He actually did pretty well to get this up and established, but now it's a case of can he hold on to it. Bring your units in. Why are you staging them? Okay, so these are here to keep an eye on and shut this down, and these are here to try and break through here. Alright, so we have our vessel brigade, another one there picked off by a Hydra, I think it was. Come on, so get aggro, get mean, smash him, smash, smash, smash. 199 plays 100, 37 drones saturated against one healthy mining base and a couple of others slightly less healthy mining bases. Still got excellent vision on every other unoccupied map here, which is good. Moves away from this position, doesn't seem too concerned in trying to break this as of yet. He could storm the main, you know. There's actually really not that much in the main, just mainly Lings, and that's it. So blocking this, blocking this, blocking this. And here we go. Is he going to go for the main? Okay, so he scans and he sees it's basically just Lings, which then get tidy up in a flash. He does plague the vessels. The vessels now moving. There are no lurkers here though, so I don't know how the hell Zerg's supposed to defend this. So his Queen's Nest is going to go down in a flash. Not that that really matters that much at this stage. So he just basically tears through the front door here. He's going to be able to take down this base, which is only one hatchery, but quite a few drones, but it's also the road to all of his other main tech. Darkstorm does come up. There are some reinforcing units coming to the Nidus, but it's predominantly Lings. Unfortunately, these Marines are in such a good position that even lurkers are going to be pretty ineffective. Yes, some units could come around. There's only one Ultralist coming out here. He's going to take a lot of hits, and under the Darkstorm is going to be pretty useless. Also, his hit points are literally being irradiated away. Nicely done there. Good reactions from So, casting the spells as he sees the Ultralist coming down the hill. So, this hatch is pretty much dead, although he does pull back. Reinforcing Ultras coming down again, but it's just a matter of money at this stage for our Zerg. 68 plays 188. This is just literally a matter of time. The Darkstorm now wears off, so this Ultra is free pickings for our bajillion stemmed up Marines. But once again, under the Darkstorm he goes. More irradiation, killing more drones, moving around out of the Darkstorm so he can finally pick up this hatch and any other remaining buildings. This is a painful, painful hiding. Beautifully and very patiently, I might say, dished out by So throughout the course of this game. So he hasn't moved any other units. There have been no other attempts to expand or no other skirmishes on the map that I could see. Just basically rallying and reinforcing down. Now I think it's time to throw more units into if you need to. At this stage he probably feels he doesn't need to do this. There are no lurkers blocking him getting up to this ramp, so he's going to smush all of these hatches. He's going to smush all of this tech. And he could even get the Nidus, which blocks any other reinforcements, and the Ultralist Cavern. All of the technology is here. Moving his vessels out to maybe block any reinforcing lurkers or any other units that could come from somewhere else. So it's like, alright, well, I've got some units to spare, so why don't we move in and pressure here as well? Really splitting the attention of our Zerg player from pillar to post. These guys are a little lonely though. Alright, so there's a couple of lurkers here. He scans in this position, so So's attention seems to be here in terms of trying to wreck these lurkers. There is only one left. The fire bat's really burning up the storm. Nicely done. Meanwhile, our Marines are still getting in here. A Mutalisk has arrived. I don't know if he's been alive all game or if that was the plan to build one now. But the main is going to get wrecked, and I'm pretty sure we'll see GG from our Zerg momentarily. He doesn't have a Defiler mount. He's got 47 supply. A very, very clinical, a very, very patient game. Not perfect by any means. A little bit of sloppiness from both players, particularly on the micro side. But very, very enjoyable play. A very good demonstration of how you can exploit map control to contain your opponent and just get too powerful to the point where you force your opponent to try and make the play. You force your opponent to try and break out, and you just continuously block it to the point where you got too strong. And that's exactly what So did in this game. It was a really, really good demonstration and very, very nicely done. So consolidating a huge whack of units here to potentially come and destroy this last outpost of Zerg. Everything's going to go down. The hive's going to go down. And that's that. GG. This was an enjoyable game. These two had obviously been played quite a bit this day. I love this map. I love this match. Thank you so for the replay. I really enjoyed it. I'm Rabbit Roo, Variety Broodwar Caster. If you enjoyed this game, please do subscribe to the channel. Until next time, ciao for now.